Good evening, all. My name is Michael Toole. Chairman Jack Conway will be joining us in a little bit, and Meg Arts is not going to make it this evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:04. And for the record, myself, Christine DeVoe, and Renee, I always want to say a delay, but delay is here as well. Just let the record show that. And that being said, let's jump into it. And this is for the Wednesday, February 2nd, Select Board meeting. That being said, let's open up the public comments section of the meeting. Are there any individuals that would like to bring any concerns or comments to the board? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to move on to the minutes. And did Renee and Christine, did either of you have a chance to review the minutes of January, including but not limited to January 19th?
Yes, I'm good to vote on it.
Renee?
I did not read them, but I trust if Christine did, I'm comfortable voting as well.
Okay. The acting chair will be open to take a nomination to approve the minutes, or a motion to approve the minutes. I'm sorry.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Christine, seconded by Renee. Christine? I'll move to a vote. Christine?
Yes.
Renee?
Yes.
I too am a yes. So the minutes approved. And with that being said, I'm going to hand this off to the chairman. Mr. Chairman, we just approved the January 19th minutes. And we're about to move into just appointments and resignations and retirements.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much. Michael, I apologize for being a bit late. The joys of doing meetings from home is that your family often doesn't care about what time things start. So, the resignation of Dan Doyle from the Conservation Commission. So, Mike, I believe we got a letter from Dan last week. So this means that once again, there's an opening for anyone interested to join the Conservation Commission. If there is any interest out there, please send the town manager an email at myunits@nortonma.com, and we'll get you on the agenda for the appointment. Anything to add, Mike?
Nope. We hope to have a full board soon, so if anyone's interested, it's an interesting board.
I think we had a full board for 72 hours.
Yeah, about that.
Excellent. See nothing. So for licenses and permits, Mike, I don't see a specific time on there, but I believe at least item 2 had a public hearing time of 7:15. Is that true for?
You can do the common vic. Doesn't require a public hearing.
Okay. Oh, I see. That's further on. Right.
In the first one, the applicant has asked to hold off on that for now.
That's right. Yes. Okay. So first up, we have a vote to approve the transfer of the Common Vic Entertainment, Live Entertainment, Dancing, and Sunday Entertainment licenses from Home Plate Norton LLC to Goat City Pub Inc., DBA Goat City Pub, to be utilized at 184 West Main Street. So Mike, you want to talk us through this one?
Sure. We have the current owners and the new applicant. Brianne is on, and I don't know if Brianne wants to talk about her restaurant and what she's looking to do.
If I may, Matthew Porter, represent the applicant, the attorney. So if the board so pleases, I can give just a brief introduction as to what's before the board, and then we can go from there, if that works.
Sure. And I realize this is probably complicated by taking these separated by a bit of time.
A little bit.
So why don't we try to focus on the Common Vic part, and then we can get into more on the public hearing time. I realize it's only 7 minutes, but rules are...
Understood. Yeah, so this essentially, well, if we're separating them out, all of this relates to the sale of the business, which is currently known as Home Plate at 184 West Main Street, Norton. My name is Matthew Porter. I represent the applicant on the common vic and the entertainment license, which is Goat City Pub, Inc., which would be doing business as Goat City Pub. Along with me tonight is Brianne M. Sylvie. Ms. Sylvie is the 100% shareholder of Goat City Pub, Inc. She would also be the one overseeing the day-to-day operations of the business. There are no major anticipated changes to the structure or the interior of the restaurant whatsoever. There will obviously be a DBA name change from Home Plate to Goat City Pub. They'll be going in doing some painting and some reupholstery, but no major changes to the restaurant whatsoever. There's a slight variation in the change of hours. The request here is 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. In speaking with Ms. Sylvie, I think they're going to take a bit of a wait-and-see approach. It may be that they don't need such extended hours during the week, but that's the request before the board. So Ms. Sylvie is Safe Serve certified. She's tip certified. All employees of the new restaurant will be required to be Safe Serve and tip certified as well. There is a entertainment license before the board, as well as the common vic. That would really be for live music. They have not quite worked out that schedule, but I think the request at this point would be to have some live music on Friday and Saturday evenings, potentially some on Sunday for brunch as well. So that is an overview, I suppose, of the common vic and the entertainment aspects of the transaction. I know Ms. Sylvie would be able to speak more so to just the concept of the restaurant and what they're doing. So with that, I can certainly answer any questions, and I'll pass it off to Ms. Sylvie to just give a brief overview of what the restaurant has in store.
Hey everybody, it's a real pleasure to finally put some faces to some names, and I'm honored to have this opportunity. I just wanted to give you a little overview about Goat City and where that name kind of originated. A lot of talk through the town seems to think it's going to be about Tom Brady, and while I would like to represent him in some form, the real concept comes from why, I want to open something here in New England. I grew up in New Hampshire. I ended up meeting my husband in California, who's from Foxborough. And after spending many years out there, we've decided to come back and be closer to family. And it's always been a dream of mine to have something of my own. So Goat City really represents all that I love about New England, and what makes it such a great place to live. So my decor will represent the great athletes who have come out of the towns, the musicians, some of our favorite movies. So that's kind of where the decor will lie, in celebrating some of these amazing people. Our favorite chefs, Julia Child, Emerald Lagasse, they're all somewhat local. So that's with a heavy emphasis on sports, keeping it a sports bar. The decor will lie in celebrating those other wonderful people that make New England such an awesome place to live. So that's where the name came from. And I hope people embrace it once they get it. It might seem a little silly now and, wondering, oh, goat, why goat? But I really hope they embrace it once they see what we can do. So.
All right. Excellent. Well, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And while I am disappointed Goat City is not an Indian-themed restaurant, there's not one anywhere near here, I am really excited to see what you guys do with the place.
Maybe we'll do, some special for you.
All right. I'll open it up to any questions from the board. And again, this is about the common vic and entertainment license only at this time. All right.
No questions, Jack.
Okay. Seems pretty straightforward. So without further ado, Chair would entertain. Oh, actually, I do have one question. On the paperwork, it does say 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. That is only 1 hour. I'm assuming that was 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. So,
yes.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So if you can just work with Jen Reed to just adjust that in the final version. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the transfer of, get the language back up here, transfer of the common vic license, live entertainment dancing, and Sunday entertainment licenses from Home Plate Norton LLC to Goat City Pub Inc. DBA Goat City Pub to be utilized at 184 West Main Street from the hours of 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Monday through
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Renee,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
Michael,
Aye.
2 am yes. All right, thank you very much. And if we twiddle our thumbs for about 30 seconds, I think we can get to the next part.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like Girl and the Goat in Chicago. The menu was only goat, and we were going to get some kind of great goat.
Promise we will serve no goats.
I, for one, have to thank you that it's not all about Tom Brady.
Yes.
Because I'm so sorry. I love supporting local businesses, but I don't know if I could go in there.
Yeah. And the timing is kind of impeccable with everything going on with him at the moment. So I'm like, oh boy. But no, it's not. It's not.
All right. Well, the time on my laptop just ticked over to 7:15. So on that note, I would like to open the public hearing on the application for a transfer of the common vic license to expose, keep for sale, and to sell all kinds of alcoholic beverages to be drunk on the premises at 184 West Main Street from a home plate to Goat City Pub. So, do I have a motion to open the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All right. Renee,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
Michael,
Aye.
2 and yes. So now officially our public hearing is open for this matter. So, Attorney Porter, if you'd like to sort of recap and focus on this license transfer, we can get started all over again.
Absolutely. So this is the transfer of the all alcohol Section 12 restaurant license, which is currently used at 184 West Main Street in Norton. This is the transfer of the license from Home Plate Norton LLC to Goat City Pub Inc. I represent Goat City Pub Inc. Along with me again is Brianne Sylvie. Ms. Sylvie is the 100% shareholder of the applicant. There are no changes to the layout or changes to the premises whatsoever. Ms. Sylvie not only is the 100% owner of the corporation, she'll also be the license manager, meaning that she'll be there in anywhere between 40 to 50 hours. I'm sure most weeks more than that, overseeing the operation. She is tip certified. She is Safe Serve certified. All employees of the establishment are required to be so as well. So it's been a very smooth transition. I know the town will probably be sad to see Rob and Natalie go. They're here tonight. But I think that everybody will find that this is a great new opportunity and a great new restaurant. So with that, I can certainly answer any questions that the board may have, and Ms. Sylvie can as well.
All right. Excellent. Before we open up to questions, I would just like to acknowledge Rob and Natalie for everything that they've done for the community. Home Plate has just been such a fixture in town since you guys opened it up. You've done so much with all the fundraisers and just being a real key part of what makes Norton unique and special. So on behalf of everybody, especially my family who lives around the corner and loves to go there on Tuesdays, thank you very much, and I wish you all the best with your next adventure.
Pleasure. Brought a lot of happiness to our lives working with the Norton community. It's been a great 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah, our grandchildren will be sad, but they only have to drive 7 or 8 miles further up the road and hopefully have a similar experience.
Very good. So with that, open up to any questions about the alcohol license transfer.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Michael.
Ms. Sylvie, do you, or Mr. Porter or Ms. Sylvie, what's your experience in the restaurant business prior?
I feel like it runs through my veins. I started in high school working in an ice cream shop, and then it sort of just never ended. Worked as a waitress through college down in Virginia, and then after school I moved home to New Hampshire, where I was lucky enough to become bar manager of a fine dining bistro, and a couple years there, and then I decided to head west, where my restaurant career just kept going. I just couldn't seem to get rid of it. I love food, I love beverage, and so I kind of range anywhere from having managed fine dining to bartending to GMing pizzerias to sports bars, and it's truly a lifelong dream to have been able to now call something my own, and I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Renee or Christine?
I'm not sure. I know it's not really related to the alcohol license sale, but it's more just about the business in general. So thank you, Rob and Natalie, for everything you guys have done. Jack did a really great job, explaining everything and taking the words right out of my mouth. But you guys really have been a staple in this town, and we're hoping Goat City becomes, the next staple and does, continues what they've done for the town. So that kind of leads into my question where they have done a lot, fundraisers on Tuesdays, percentage of it gets donated to the town, musical bingo, trivia, all this stuff. Do you have plans to, get the town involved and also give back to the town?
Absolutely. And I think Rob and Natalie have just teed it up going forward, because they're so tied in with, the community and the fundraisers. And I'm familiar with those types of fundraisers and how much they give back, their involvement with Wheaton. And I just want to continue on that path and, have the little league teams in, and have the kids, want a place where they want to come in, but mom and dad also want to eat. Rob and Natalie have already set that up. So going forward, yes, of course, the more community involvement, the better. My in-laws live in Norton. The man that married us lives in Norton. His kids go to Norton High. I'm 11 minutes down the road. So I'm just so excited to have more involvement with the town.
Perfect. And I'm not sure if this is more of a question for Mr. Porter or you, but when are you expecting to open fully as Goat City?
Yeah, so this obviously, if the board approves tonight, this will head off to the ABCC. They have been running about 4 to 6 weeks, just depending on which investigator you get up at the state. So I would anticipate once we get ABCC approval, we'll be ready to go, and the transition will occur at that point.
Perfect. Thank you.
Jack?
Yes, Mike.
Brianne, I was just wondering, were you able to keep any of the employees that are currently working at the restaurant?
Absolutely. I was fortunate to meet the staff about 2 weeks ago, and they're such an integral part in keeping, having your regulars come back in, and I'd like to keep everybody that wants to stay, should it work out with their schedule and they like our concept. Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Great question, Mike. Thank you. Seeing no other questions from the board, I will open it up to any members of the public. Do they have any questions before we move on? Seeing and hearing none, Chair would entertain a motion to approve the transfer of the common vic license to expose, keep for sale, and sell all kinds of alcoholic beverages to be drunk on the premises at 184 West Main Street from Home Plate Norton LLC, manager Robert E. Anderson, to Goat City Pub Inc., DBA Goat City Pub, manager Ms. Brianne and Sylvie, same address.
Mr. Chairman, do we close the meeting first, or we take the vote first, then close the meeting? Is that how it's usually done? Public meeting?
Take the vote first and then close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Renee?
Yes.
Christine?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
And yes. Well, congratulations to everybody. Exciting times, and look forward to seeing you.
Thank you all for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you all.
Good luck.
Thank you.
With the matter of the public hearing being addressed, Chair would entertain a motion to close the public hearing and return to our open session.
So moved.
Second.
Renee?
Yes.
Christine?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
2 yes. So we'll drop back into our normally scheduled events as of 7:23, and we'll turn it over to Christine for this week's announcements.
Alrighty, so we have a couple of fundraisers. Sweet Stuff and the Norton High School Swim and Dive team have joined up, and they're going to be doing a Valentine's Day cookie kit. 25% of sales go to the Norton High School Swim and Dive team. They're $20 a kit, and it comes with 4 freshly baked cookies, sugar cookies, 1 frosting bag, and 2 sprinkles options. Orders can be placed through either any of the members of the Norton High School Swim and Dive team or by messaging the Sweet Stuff Bake Shop Facebook page. Where is it? Orders must be in by February 4th, and pickup is February 10th. And then wait for my next one. Friends of the Norton CPAC will be doing a Valentine's Day basket. Each basket will come with 2 milk chocolate and 2 white chocolate dipped pretzel rods, Rice Krispie treats, Oreos, assorted fun candy, and a mini Valentine Day balloon. They're $25 each. The order deadline is February 6th, and they'll be dropped off on February 13th, and that can be Venmoed to the Norton CPAC Venmo. That's all today.
All right, excellent. Anybody else? Seeing nothing, we will keep this train a-moving and jump back into new business with item number 2, review, discussion, and or vote to amend Exit 10 LLC's host community agreement. When I see host community agreement, I think Renee. So Renee, why don't you catch us up?
You do think me, and I apologize. I spoke with Alex earlier today, and it was in between meetings, and I forgot to send a note to the group that they have asked to be put on next week's agenda. They just got, with the snow, they were a bit delayed in getting the paperwork to us in time. So I told him that was fine, and I figured that the board would welcome the jump in the agenda item, given the length of our meeting tonight.
All right. Excellent. Moving on. Any other topics? I don't believe anything has come up in the last 48 hours that needs to be addressed under this. No. Old business. Discussion and or vote on the establishment of late fees, fines relating to license renewals. Mr. Town Manager.
Okay. We had this discussion at the previous meeting, and in your packet, there's a proposal to institute a $50 late fee for the licenses that are all listed that the board issues if the applications are not in by the date set forth in the letter that is sent out. And then if they don't arrive by December 31st, another $50.
Okay. How does that track with? Oh, go ahead, Christine, please.
Sorry. I just have a question. When it says, are the dates where it says, like set forth in the letter, are they pretty much consistently the same time they get sent out, or does it kind of vary on the year?
It kind of varies based on the year.
Okay.
And so my question was, do these fees compare with our surrounding communities?
They do. I think the communities that we were looking at before all were around $100.
Okay, great. Any additional questions, comments? Seeing none, Chair would entertain a motion. Accept the recommendation of instituting late fees and or fines in accordance with the policy provided by Town Manager.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Renee?
Yes.
Christine?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
2 and yes. Thank you, Mike, for bringing that forward.
Thank you.
And that closes out old business. And you stay in the hot seat, and we turn over to the Town Manager's report.
All right. Let me close that out. All right. So under the Town Manager's report, I just want to let you know that I was contacted by David Waluka again. And David was the person that was looking for liquor license in the Blue Star Park last year, and he was just wondering if there was any move to try and have special legislation for an additional all alcohol license again. And I told him I just want to speak with you and see if it was something you'd be interested in putting it on a future agenda for a discussion.
What do we think, gang?
Like, when does the warrant close?
I believe it's March 7th.
March 7th.
Okay. I mean, this was a recommendation from the EDC, and the EDC, provided some updates to the language that David Aruka had submitted last time. So, I mean, I'll speak on behalf of the EDC. I think we'd certainly like to see this as an article on the warrant and have some time over the next couple months to inform the public of what it is and what the potential benefits to the town could be.
Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but if it is the select board that is putting the article on, that affords us the ability to continue to refine and tweak the language after the 7th until the meeting set close to the meeting. Okay.
Until the warrant closes.
Perfect.
I mean, not until it until we finally post the warrant.
Okay.
I think, Mr. Chairman, Matt.
Absolutely.
I think one of the things that we just have to be is, and Renee, I forget what the EDC's recommendation was, if it was site specific, or because I know the special legislation is not really in favor of just an area. They really want to be owner specific, site specific. So, if this is, I just would encourage, as we kind of over the next month or so kind of look at this as a whole, that we either find some specific place and or individual that would do that, because we know that that side of town absolutely probably could support it and need it, in the eastern side of the town, but I know that the individuals at I'm going blank, Quick Stop, thank you. Quick Stop have put an application in or written like a letter almost every year. So that's the only thing that I don't want to approve something without giving someone who's been a good citizen and a good business in town, not make sure that they may have an opportunity to go after it as well.
So Michael, we were specific in changing the language from a particular location to include from 495 to the eastern line on 123. And that was to not be inclusive of one specific location that isn't even built yet, and to give opportunities to others. The purpose of this is for economic development and to, diversify these establishments in the town. So that certainly wasn't the interest of the EDC, and Beluga was actually, they were amenable to us making that change, so long as it still included that same area. So in review with Mike, it also includes should MassDOT sell that property that we recently rezoned to, was it industrial?
Yes.
It would also include that area too, the way that the language is written. So it's focused on, the EDC provided 3 potential areas for the special legislation liquor licenses, and the board selected the 2 that are actually on there. So this is one of those items. I think it's been at least 2 years that we've been talking about this and kind of modifying it. So, Jack, to your point, I think it is in our best interest for the select board to put it on the warrant, so that based on any communication or discussions that we have with residents, that we can make changes if applicable. But I think it's important to note too that while this approval or putting it on the warrant would allow for the potential to have those liquor licenses, it does not provide any approval of the licenses to anyone specific. That's a separate process, and we should talk about that as a board on how we want that process to go. Maybe that's something we could put on the next agenda just to discuss that.
And I think, Renee, thanks for reminding me. I wasn't sure if we got that specific, and I remember those discussions. One of the things that we also just to make sure is, just because it passes, if it does get to the point where we are specific on the process afterwards and just because the town passed the town meeting doesn't, it still has to go through legislative approval as well.
That's right. And if it should make through all those hurdles, there is no requirement that the town actually issue those, right? It remains up to the discretion of the select board at the time to issue or not issue any licenses. So there's multiple layers of control there, which is good. Okay, so Mike, I think that's a resounding yes. Let's look at putting language on and putting some. All right. I just got muted. That is interesting.
What was that ding?
Someone
Anybody else
coming
hear a
in.
ding?
That was someone coming in. Oh, I don't know what that other one was after that. No.
I think you may have accidentally muted everybody, Mike, when you did that. And that's the universal mute thing.
I didn't get muted.
Oh,
Maybe it was intentional.
Don't take it personal, Jack.
Wow.
And on the storm, I just wanted to give an update. I want to thank the highway department and water and sewer. There were 5 members of the water and sewer that were out there plowing. They did great work during Saturday's storm, and it was truly a historic storm. I was talking with the DPW director from Mansfield who drove in that day, and he said it was the worst drive in 32 years of his career, trying to drive in that day. He was on the highway, couldn't even tell where he was. The visibility was so bad during that storm, and these guys are out there in the middle of the night, plowing in the dark, and they did a great job, and I want to thank them for that. They had limited resources. We still have the 2 members of the department that are in the National Guard, and Keystone 4 contractors from last year, but they worked 28 straight hours plowing snow, as they always say, the blood money. And also, I just wanted to mention that having the Chartley station open came in handy in 2 instances with that storm. There was a fire down on the Attleboro line that they had to go to from the station, and also they had a cardiac situation that they had to deal with. The ambulance left from that station and was closer than if the ambulance had to have come from the center of town. So it did save them some time and did help out during the storm. But most of the calls they had, just routine calls. There was not a lot of damage, and the town survived well. The next thing, any questions on that? All right.
No, I'm going to ask you to stop muting me. You did it again.
Not me. I'm not touching that.
Whoever the host is keeps muting me.
So I just wanted to share my screen. Let's see.
Well, and not to gloss over what you had said, Mike, I think absolutely Keith and his crew did an outstanding job in crazy conditions, and it's really heartening to hear that Chartley's already seeing the positive impacts of being open. So good news all around.
All right, give me a second here to open you back up. I won't mute you, I promise.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. All right. So I just wanted to go over the cherry sheet I sent to you. Just briefly. So on the cherry sheet, this is obviously the governor's proposal right now. Then there'll be the House preliminary budget, the Senate preliminary budget, and there'll be the conference committee. They'll get together, and then the budget will go to the governor sometime in June, probably. But just to go over some of the numbers, the first section on the cherry sheet always is receipts. And as you look at the receipts, you'll see that last year the total estimated receipts were $16,517,646, and this year $16,933,767. So from the bottom line, the total estimated receipts, when we're looking at what's available for appropriation, we have to take out the $32,000 right here that goes directly to the library. And so the library this year, they're actually receiving $3,688 less. We'll have to find out why that is. And the next item that is also an offset receipt is right here, the school choice receiving tuition, which is the $1,170,913. So that goes directly to the school department. So that's an increase of $204,122. So in effect, when you deduct those off, leaves a net of $215,679 more this year than last year available for appropriation. Any questions on the receipts?
Mr. Chairman?
Yep. Michael?
By percentage, Mike, what is this typically? I mean, we know that's an increase of a minuscule increase. Usually when we get the preliminary cherry sheet, isn't it usually percentage-wise higher than this?
We don't see a lot of state aid in Norton. We don't see a lot of increases. I'll look and see what it was last year compared to this year, and I'll get you that figure. And the second part of the cherry sheet, the assessments. And these are county assessments, transportation, money that goes to transportation authorities, state assessments and charges. So this year, our assessments actually went down. Last year, you can see they were $1,434,040, and this year, $1,340,245. So the assessments decreased by $86,910. So if you add that in with the decrease in assessments and then what we're receiving in revenue, the positive is about $302,589. And I know I sent it to you. If you have any questions after you look at the cherry sheet, let me know.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Let me mute Jack. No, I mean stop share. All right. I just want to say that Beth Rossi, her hard work paid off again. She was able to acquire a grant for the Norton Energy Fund of $6,000 from Bluestone Bank. So I want to thank Beth and Bluestone Bank for that. That'll help out during this cold winter with fuel for some of the residents. And I also, when it comes to the Council on Aging, we received a call from a resident who's been working with Kathy Varnum applying for Medicare, and he was emphasizing how extremely helpful, kind, and caring the entire group of staff is at the Council on Aging. So it's good to hear that from a resident. And I did receive a notice from the town moderator that he's appointed, I hope I say it right, Kevin Bugaj to the Finance Committee.
Excellent.
And I just want to remind people out there that they can pick up nomination papers at the town clerk's office until Thursday, March 10th at 5 o'clock. And they have to be returned by Monday, March 14th at 5 o'clock. And right now, a couple desperate positions. planning board, there's 3 open seats and nobody's running. No one has pulled papers yet. And assessors has 2 seats and no one has pulled papers yet. So if anyone's out there and they want to get involved, it's a good opportunity.
So Mike, can you just speak at a very high level about what might be involved with either of those positions so we can perhaps entice some of the folks watching at home?
Sure. The planning board meets to review applications for special permits, site plans. They've got a good board right now and have a staff that's very helpful. And also they work on any rezoning that they may want to propose for the town. So it's an important board for the development of the town and when projects are being built to oversee them and also to look for the future of the town and how zoning should be developed. On the assessors, I can leave that to Denise if she wants to talk, but they get to work with Denise Ellis and her staff. And the Board of Assessors meets once a month, and generally their meetings are only about an hour. And Denise can talk about the intricacies of what the assessors do. Go ahead, Denise.
Totally threw her under the bus.
But anyways, the assessors, the assessors are responsible for seeing it all.
I'm on mic. Sorry, I couldn't unmute. So basically, we're just responsible for deciding all the bills. All the senior exemptions that we have to be approved by the board. Any real estate abatements need to be approved by the board. Any special things that we want to do for the town. For instance, if we want to bring in new exemptions, there's one coming up for the veterans, the board would be in charge of that. But it's pretty easy. It only meeting is about an hour and a half, tops. And it's just basically just signing things. And it's all state regulated, so we have to have a board to do that. And we also do the tax rate. They're responsible for signing off on the tax rate in the fall. That's about it.
And there are 2 open seats on your board, Denise, and then 3 for planning, Mike?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for pitching those, and thanks, Denise, for pinch hitting. If you slow the video down, you can actually see the moment that the buck was passed from Mike to you.
I was watching him. I just couldn't unmute it.
I didn't mute her.
Jack knows your feeling.
All right.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mike?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. That brings us to Select Board report and mail. Anyone out there in Select Board land have anything they'd like to share? I saw Michael's hand go up.
I can. Mr. Mike, is it Beth has 4 grants and Chief Simmons has 4 grants? Is it tied up at this point, or is it? I mean, I'm not keeping score at home, but I could be wrong this year. They're both in a race for grants.
We'll have to look at that.
Yeah, but I did want to just update the board on regarding the article that I shared with you 2 weeks ago. I had a chance to do a couple of things. First was to meet with the Water Commission, Water and Sewer Commission, and answer questions that they have, and it went very, very well. They had some concerns, specifically on the 2 separate departments. Why move towards an elected versus an appointed? And I think we were able to answer a lot of those questions and kind of answer some of their concerns. The other thing that we had done, that I had done is with Mike Units, had a chance to speak with Alex. I'm going to massacre his last name, Azar Herrera. He is the director. Herrera. Thank you, Mike. He is the director of Public Works and he formed the Department of Public Works over in Mansfield, and kind of get an understanding what that transition looked like going from separate departments to one department, and just some of the things that you should be aware of. Right now, also, I'm doing from by the time that I probably our next meeting, I would like to present just a kind of quick overview again to you of just some of the updates. Going through different towns that have what their formation of different towns in the area look like for public works, and basically, do they include sewer? Do they include water? Do they include what other services do they have? So I'm kind of collecting all those items, and I'm actually reached out to a couple members of the charter, the previous charter commission, to just talk to them about some of the discussions and revisited the meetings, some of the meetings that they had on that end. So this thing is still moving forward in a positive manner, and next meeting I hope to kind of present again to the select board to kind of continue the discussion on this article. And specifically at that next meeting, I'll have the wording of what I would be proposing for the article, and I have a PowerPoint, so I'll make sure I share that information prior to the meeting, so you can review it. So coming into the meeting, you're a little more prepared than I have given you last time. And just on a closing note, I actually I had a citizen call me regarding some enrollments of supplemental insurance. And I actually had the experience of talking to Kathy Varnum over at COA, and she is amazing in understanding insurance and reimbursements for the Council of Aging. So to Mike's point, I just wanted to sing that her praise again. So. Yeah, just so you know, you're muted.
I don't know if I did it myself or if it was Mike again.
I did not.
Can I actually ask the board real quickly if there's something specifically of just that I didn't cover, that we didn't cover in the last time you saw it, and anything that I gave you on the update that we want to see on the Department of Public Works proposal? Is there anything that this board would like to see? Additional?
Not from my perspective, Michael. Sounds like you've covered it pretty well.
I figured Christine would be all over this. From what I understand, she works in a public works. I figured you'd be all over me, Christine.
My dad works in a public works.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But no, I did. You said you met with the Water and Sewer Commission.
Correct.
Okay.
The other thing that I am going to do is I'm going to make it a point to meet with the workers of both departments as well, just to kind of make sure that there's no angst, and I don't want them to think like we're changing what they're doing for work, and just kind of just give them. I will hopefully by the time have that meeting before our next meeting as well.
Perfect.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Renee or Christine? All right. Back to the agenda. All right. That brings us to warrants. So I have approved payroll warrant PR 22-16 for the week ended January 22nd, 2022, and warrant dated January 27th, 2022, in the amount of $1,562,334.25, as well as invoice warrants AP 22-31 dated January 27th, 2022, in the amount of $1,813,105.13, and invoice warrant AP 22-32 dated February 3rd, 2022, in the amount of $443,832.10. Our next meeting is set for February 16th at 7 p.m. Mike, do we know if Chris is advising that we return to in-person hybrid meetings, or this is recommendation to keep things virtual?
I will check with him tomorrow.
Okay.
Get back to you.
All right.
I think it was through February.
It was.
Oh, through the end of February?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, then that answers that. Perhaps if we can have him either provide through you an update on how things stand.
Yep.
Thankfully, circumstances are changing rapidly in a positive direction. So
I will say that they had, for the first time in a long time, 2 days with no COVID cases reported, so that was good.
excellent.
But then we had one in the town hall, so
You always got to kill the good news, Mike.
sorry.
Wow, 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 wow. Hey, just Mr. Chairman, I just want to point out it's 7:53, and you know, I noticed Meg is in here, and so I just wanted to point this out that there may be. I'm not saying she is the cause, but maybe just you know.
Meg says about 5 minutes worth of conversation in the meeting. I don't think she's the cause.
I'm joking.
I think we should all rub in her face that our
Yes.
first meeting less than an hour in years was when she was not here. Although it is not over yet, we do have an executive session. So is there any other business to come before the board this evening? Seeing none, I declare under General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21, little a3, that the purposes of the executive session will be to discuss strategy with litigation, i.e. Bella Music, and to discuss litigation with respect to the property located at 20 Commerce Way, Norton, Mass. 02766, because a discussion of the strategies in open session could compromise the purposes of the executive session, and with the board do not return to open session at the conclusion of the executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the board go into executive session under General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21, Section A, Subsection 3, for the purposes and reasons declared by the chair and with the board to not return to open session thereafter.
You have a second?
Second.
Renee?
Yes.
Christine?
Yes.
Michael?
Aye.
Thank you, and a yes.